This Thanksgiving, we're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. The price of Thanksgiving turkey is down 33% from its Biden-era highs. Potatoes are down 13%. Ham is down 15% compared to last Thanksgiving.
The reality is Americans won't be talking about the actual price of turkeys and potatoes this Thanksgiving, or even ham. They're going to be talking about how they feel about shopping and Christmas presents. And right now, people don't feel good about the economy. If most Americans feel like the middle class is gone, that's because it is. Here's the proof. In a new article, My Life is a Lie, How a Broken Benchmark Quietly Broke America, Michael Green, an investment manager, lays out how the income needed to feel comfortable in America is far more than anybody really thinks, but everybody realizes. Childcare, $32,000 a year. Housing, $23,000. Food, $14,000. Transportation, almost $15,000. Healthcare, a huge one, more than $10,000. Other essentials, $21,000. All of this requires a net income of $118,000 a year. The average for an American household is $83,000. 34% less. The poverty line in America, as defined by $32,000 a year, is less than a third of the income needed to survive comfortably. With us in just a minute, Laurie Watkins, Democratic strategist, former Obama policy advisor, Republican strategist Annalyse Keller. First, the man himself, Michael Green, chief strategist for Simplify Asset Management. Michael, what you wrote, we linked to it in War Notes, is one of the most important things I've read all year. What is the nerve that you think you struck here?
Well, I think the nerve that I struck is unfortunately what many people have been demanding, which is just for people to actually listen to their lived experience, what's going on in the households in America, why they're not having children, why they're not getting married, and why they're so frustrated with the housing market.
And that is what is you laid out, and I thought one of the things that was so clear in this was how for many in the middle class, or what we would define in the middle of America, actually doing better financially makes you worse off.
Yeah, that is the real tragedy. The way that we define the poverty line in the United States is critical, largely because it helps to determine where benefits are distributed. What happens when you cross that $32,000 level as a family of four is they begin withdrawing benefits at the same time that you're making additional earnings. That effectively translates to tax rates that are greater than 100%. And as a result, a family that is transiting from that $40,000 level at which we all kind of agree that they're really in crisis to a $100,000 level at which they're told they're fantastically better off is really one in which their cash flow doesn't change very much. They're really not able to contribute to any form of retirement savings or any form of investments like home equity that would ultimately leave them in a much safer and better place in their lives. That's even before we begin addressing things like the cost of college, which as a family with two children, almost everybody is terrified by that prospect.
I'm going to get to the political side of this in a second with the ladies here, but the Democrats' answer to this always is more free stuff. Increasingly, it is the Republicans' answer as well. Is that the answer?
Absolutely not. And this is the really frustrating part. The answer to this is not to create another bureaucracy that tells people what they need. What we need to ultimately do here is remove the marginal benefit withdrawals, expand things like the earned income tax credit, and ultimately leave the individuals and the families themselves in the position to decide how they want to spend that money. As we do that, we get pricing information, we get information from free markets about how they're spending that money. That's incredibly valuable from an economic standpoint in helping us understand where there are shortages in the economy, where we need additional resources, and more than anything else, that's why you don't want the government to build another bureaucracy to address these problems, but you also don't want to pretend they're not there.
Mr. Green, if we had a podcast, I'd keep you on for the next hour and a half. Sadly, we don't, but thank you. And I think you have identified the crystal clear issue here in America is what people's lived experience is. Michael Green, thank you. Laurie Watkins, Annalyse Keller, now with us. Annalyse, I'm going to go to you because increasingly now the Republicans' answer to these economic difficulties for the working class is the same as Democrats, which is more free stuff.
Yeah, I think there can be this reflexive desire to tell voters you're going to fix something right now and it's going to be immediate and vote, everyone's incentivized with a midterm election coming up. So I'm going to use my tariff money and give you a cut of that. Those are like quick fixes that are not going to get at what Michael's talking about, which are some of those systemic issues. I'm a millennial. The statistic that stuck out to me is the average age of a first-time home buyer is 40. Those are some alarming statistics, and I think we need to really look under the hood.
And the average cost of childcare in terms of what it costs.
$32,000
a year. Okay, so here's the question, Laurie. Democrats have spent the past 20 years telling working-class Americans, the group between $40,000 and $100,000 a year, especially the non-credentialed class, that they're deplorables and transphobes. How do Democrats tell those people, as Michael just pointed out, that they understand their lived experience?
Well, I think the Democratic Party, and you just saw this on November 4th, Mamdani was not the only candidate that was just talking about affordability, but he was the most successful. And that's why you saw Donald Trump now elevating his profile, because he wants to hang out and be seen with winners.
Yeah, Mamdani just promised a bunch of free stuff.
No, but he is focused on issues, and he's going to work on putting money back into the hands of working people and lowering the cost of things that are astronomically high, which is taking money out of their bank accounts right now. And most Americans that I talk to right now across the board feel like they are being gaslit because this administration is not focusing.
It's a huge problem. For Republicans.
Can I finish? They're not focusing on the way the American people are feeling. They're saying, you have Scott Besson over the weekend going on saying the economy is doing great. That is not how Americans feel right now. Everything has increased. You go to the grocery store to plan for your Thanksgiving meal right now.
Are we going to let Annalyse get in here?
And everything has gone up.
Well, I do agree that it's a problem when people feel like their experience is not what they're hearing from. I think President Biden really suffered from this. He was telling people the economy was great, and it wasn't. And this is the
trap. That was an opening for Donald Trump.
This is exactly, and this is the trap that I think Donald Trump could fall into if he doesn't refocus on some of these domestic issues leading up to the midterms.
All right, I'm going to give you the last word. You got 15 seconds, though. Mamdani kept saying the answer is free stuff, free stuff, free stuff. That's not how America works or views things.
He's not promising free stuff, Leland.
Free bus rides, government-run grocery stores, rent controls.
Fix the way that the system is currently standing, and it is broken, and putting money back into the American people's hands. And this is how they are feeling, that they are getting gouged every single step of the way, and it's not right. And Donald Trump better start talking about it after this Thanksgiving break, and also start talking about health care, because that's a huge part of the American people.
It's a huge part of the numbers right there.
We all agree.
Ladies, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.